Listening to the Law Enforcement Pirate Radio Network. Radio Free Larry presiding.
You can run, but you can't hide.
Radio Free Larry.
All right, here we go again. Buckle up. Rough roads ahead. It's kind of getting a little warmer. It's creeping up. And I think the mosquitoes might be out. So I might have to change my plans. I think maybe later in the night, they probably are a lot less because it's cooler. Got a neat vehicle here. Reminds me of one of those Fiats. It's called a Venue. Now, I forget what company that is. Maybe it's a Hyundai. That's what it is. Looks neat. It reminds me of kind of that, some of the Mini Cooper stuff and some of the Fiat stuff. Hopefully it's a vehicle. Nice looking vehicle there for if you want something a little different. It's like kind of the Kia Soul vehicle, but a little smaller, but it has more rounded edges and kind of a little bit of a retro look. Kind of an in-between vehicle. So the idea that I'm trying to get across is that the LGBTQ are being enlarged in your mind as being the sinners of sinners. But it's a scam from Satan to get you all to sin and to obsess over it to cause them to further fall into criminal activity with your will. That exists, all of you. Again, I explain how it's changed in the end times. The witchcraft has increased, and it isn't maybe what you traditionally call witchcraft. I call it witchcraft of the mind, but that's what all witchcraft really is. So you're obsessing over something and you're imposing your wills on people. And what you're doing is you're causing pedophilia, you're causing alcoholism, you're causing narcotics use. Well, if I obsess over those parents over there not raising their kids right, and I'm not, stable in the metaphysical world, I'll project failure into their family. And that's been done over and over and over again. And, the people like Trump, people like all these bigs that do that, they know that that's what that is. Mr. James Demon. So when they attack you and cancel your checking account based upon, quote unquote, punking you out, that's what that really is. Everybody attacks you metaphysically, attempting to make you be violent, maybe frequent a prostitute if they can. Now, remember, there's 30, 40 years of backup activity that caused that. They were there. And at this point, it's 32 years ago, they were definitely there. Now, they never thought I'd awaken. I'm sure that's what they thought. And they've been there ever since. And their reach has increased across the earth. Again, I'm not ready to say that this is Earth, but, it's definitely been altered. So I'm getting some weird sounds in my headphones. I think it's just simply I don't have enough noise gate, and I can't really adjust this one from Android. So again, as far as the judge in Trump's case, it's just the fact that she shouldn't be there already. I mean, I kind of didn't see it the last go around that clear. But again, she makes $232,000 a year thanks to Donald Trump. And the judiciary can't allow that. Now, the spies somewhere might be forcing them to do that. There may be a Russian dossier on all of them, and if anybody goes against that, then they'll go against them, because they would rather have Donald Trump exonerated than for him not to, for these people to actually back out of all of it. See, it's a scam to discredit the legal system. And the legal system is garbage. There's a bunch of people playing their games out, making as much money as they can, and including Way and anti-power and all of that. Now, in there somewhere, there's some honesty. But when you get to the root of all of it and what it actually is, what is it? It's corruption. Bible calls it corruption. So again, the big money is in causing another person to fall. They'll call it something else, they call it private investigation. And that, to them, it's, we're investigating this person. No doubt Chase Security is going to allege that I'm attacking their CEO when they have to attack my life. Well, bring it on. How about that? Whoa! There's never been a propensity for me to act violently, and there will not be. But I will fuck you to hell. Today, tomorrow, and forevermore. Whoa! That's what that's all about. Or not all that it's about. Again, remember, it's 4 or 5 prongs coming off that. And they've always been in it. We go back to 2005, and Mr. James Demon is running rampant with Epstein and his buddies, right? Probably before that. That's when he became CEO, right? How about the 10 years prior? Where was he? Oh, we don't want to know that. He's just, done so much charity. See, it's fake charity. They're the ones causing everybody else to fall. So the charity's not real at all. So again, it's exactly what the Bible said, but the church is in on it. But it's not really the church. That's the part. I call it the church because you all call it the church. Again, the deep state, you call it the deep state, you call it the church over here. So I'll try to use your language. To the weak, Paul became weak. To the, those under the law, that type of thing. Well, to the idiots, I'll become an idiot. They're all idiots. They're all gone to hell. And they think they're going to heaven, or they don't care. So the reality is that they developed this system, and maybe 30 years ago, it wasn't so big. It just, they were kind of in power, and if it came along, they would do it. Now they're obsessed with it. They're seeking people to destroy, because the system is wired for good to be evil and evil to be good. They're getting paid to be evil. They're getting paid to be criminal. And the government that's supposed to be stopping crime is paying some of them with knowledge. So again, to just say, well, the system's corrupt, that doesn't work. Because when we did that, they didn't stop. So we got to continue to go. We got to continue to crush them so they have nothing left. Believe me, in hell, they'll be groveling on the sidewalk for food. That's how it works, man. So when we look at people that we believe are the biggest sinner, why do we see them? Because people that I'm speaking about That you were saying, every one of them is a personality worshipped by other people. So if we go to Chase Bank, we go, oh, yes, Mr. Big Boss Demon, he's wonderful. We go to the government, oh yes, the president, the director of the FBI, oh, he's wonderful. So that's called personality worship. That's Antichrist. When the son of perdition arrives on the scene, they will worship the son of perdition. I just received a message while I said that the son of perdition will not necessarily be out front. Now that's in line with what we learned from the scripture. He could be here, or she could be here. Again, we're in a weird world. Well, you have to understand. Go to the scripture. What does it say about accepting the work of Jesus and being born again? You're in with this is why I don't listen to any of you, because you'll be like, oh, how can you be a son of God? And God said I'm one 15 different ways, so don't listen to them. Part of that is being the sons of God, but who else is the son of God? If you're a female Christian, you're a son of God. So we go back to this movement going on in the SBC. And again, I agree to the SBC, and I agree, to those that won the argument and to those that lost the argument. I agree about both of them. I don't know why you're fighting. Go start a church somewhere else. I mean, I'm not SBC, I'm nothing. Again, what are you doing there? Personality worship, organizational worship. If you have to, just make a little wooden cross, put your phone on it, come up with this neat belt with a broadcasting device, and go up to the internet and just go, you're all going to be ruined, my God! So you have to understand that network that the FBI and DHS has, and all these wonderful personalities that were worshipped and that worshipped the higher personality on this planet, also work for Chase Bank, also work for this bank and that corporation and all that. And they're the network of criminals effectuating the organized crime racket. Ross, TJ Maxx, Walmart. Well, isn't that the way it is? That's the same as it is. And now it's a bunch of devils who took over the planet and distorted everything and confused everybody, and still confuses everybody. So again, what you're being caused to become in a church is more sinful. And again, I don't want to offend LGBTQ people, but you have to look where they are in the scriptures, and I have to explain it this way. Than everybody else that they're condemning. I don't know why this sounds like this. It doesn't sound like it now, I guess. I don't know. It's just strange. Maybe I have it too loud, so it's picking up too much background. That's what it probably is. All right, let me see. I'll turn this down a little bit, maybe. All right, here we go again. Buckle up. All right, here we go again. Buckle up. Rough Rosette. Maybe this will sound better. Yeah, it kind of does. I have my headphones turned up too high. I was hearing myself kick gravel, I guess. You want to stalk people? No, I won't say it because they stalk people. We won't do that. If you can that's how you audio. I said it before, so it's not. But that's how you audio listen. If you want, if you're eavesdropping and you don't have money for your equipment, just get the cheapest ribbon mic you can find and crank it up and listen. I can hear everything throughout the building. No, I don't do that. Oh, he said it, so he must do it. Well, you've said a lot of things, and do you do it? I'm sure you do. We've actually got it in files, but we won't prosecute it. Because you got cronies to pay you, and you pay them. So again, what's happening is the church is becoming the thing that causes everybody to fall, because it's not a physical thing, but it resides in physical people. So they're using metaphysical capability and status on the planet. Again, the status of being the church on the planet can give you, can channel God's power or can channel Satan's power. And you've all chosen Satan because you're choosing to be the accuser. And then projecting an accusation to take another person down into what you want them to be. And it's not only the church, government's doing that. They're all doing that. Chase does that. In the scriptures, a billionaire is a criminal. If you put it in earth terminology. A millionaire is a lesser criminal, but still a criminal. I'm just trying to explain it to all of you in your big mansion churches here on earth. Because Jesus would have, for one of the first things Jesus would tell the Baptists in Oklahoma City with those big churches, in my Father's kingdom there are many mansions. And this is not my Father's kingdom. So what is that? A house of worship? Again, let's go back to the scriptures. How many times was Jesus speaking to the people in a house of, quote unquote, house of worship? I call it a house of ill repute, but we'll go somewhere else for a little bit. And how many times we was out here walking around an extended stay in Lenexa? He was at the extended stay at Lenexa, but also out in the fields where the tents were and all the homeless people were hanging out. I had a discussion earlier with the Spirit, and I can't remember what or where it was. And it was earlier today, probably a few hours ago, that Jesus, we're going to break it to you gently, most of the time smelled like BO, like body odor. When the homeless guy walks in Starbucks, get out! Oh, Jesus, get him out of here! I mean, he was a clean man, and they did anoint him at times. That doesn't cover all the other odors. And I was even told, it may have been Jesus self. I just couldn't see who it was. And I've explained, again, this is a good time to explain to you. You can speak to a voice or hear a voice, and you may even think it's like, what are they called? The Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence in your mind, but it could be Jesus. And that's real. So Jesus, even at times, believe it or not, smells like urine. Based upon, traveling between cities and not getting a bath, that kind of thing. And of course, he'd get to the new cities, and they would help him clean up and all that. But for a period of time, he had a stench about him that, you wouldn't think was there. So again, it's obvious to anybody that has any level of mind that Jesus would be in the homeless camps. That's where you, it doesn't matter that, he's so charitable and so giving. No, that's where you would put him. He would have no other life here. In fact, you would try to put him in prison. And you're called the church and you're called the government. First time he walked up to your church and yelled at you, you'd have all your security guys come out of all the hidden spots that you have in your mega church, and you'd put him on the ground and cuff him, and you hand him over to the police. That we trespass this guy. See the world you're building? Oh, he wants you to be unsafe. Before you got into all that, you were much safer. Remember, the government has been causing the religious institutions to operate the partner program since the 90s at least. And the partner program includes sexually baiting men within the pews. Now, theoretically, if the man is manipulated by Jezebel, Delilah of the church enough and acts it out, then you have to get rid of the guy, right? But anyway, the idea that you push through, this is their big idea. You have to push through. If you would push through, you would get somewhere. if you push through, you would still disappear from that church. If you push through a massage therapy, they'll make up a lie about you to get rid of you. So again, this idea that all Moore has to do is push through and then he would be innocent is bullshit. It's psychological torture. And the more you push through, the more you're tortured. They're trying to get you to torture yourself. That's your government. There's nothing else. That's the church. There's nothing else. Once it's that, there's nothing else. And then everything else is an illusion. Chase Bank may have engaged in $1 billion worth of charity. I doubt that. Maybe that much, but probably a couple $100 million in charity. I don't know what they do. But let's say they do that. It doesn't matter. It's a guaranteed equation on a planet that they cause $1 billion worth of need for charity if they engage in $2 million in charity. That's just how it is. There's no other reality that is actually reality. See, that's another thing I could have been. Leo Biscaglia. He's here. So again, that's that illusion appearing as angels of light. Well, I'm going to, I'll give it a few more minutes, but about 30 minutes, I'm going to close down for a second, and I'm going to listen to it to make sure the audio is coming through clear. Again, if I had a wife, she would probably do that. And she would speak too, probably. Or she could speak, and then I could do that. I mean, I don't want to relegate her to some second-class society member like you all would do to Jesus from the churches. So again, Jesus only fought that movement for 3 years. I woke up 20 years ago. Been fighting it for 20 years. But yet, how long have I been actually fighting it? At least 30 years. Now, I told you when I was in the Army, again, I'm naive, asleep. And all the officers went crazy over something that happened to me. And they brought the colonel down. And I mean, they really went, I had no idea what it was. But now I know it was a deep state hit. So there is evidence that it, again, as I go back further in time, there's less evidence. But when you get back to, let's say, 1989 or 90, there's also evidence that they were there. And in fact, there's a certain part of that evidence. You know, there's a role player, a black NCO, that, and again, nothing about being black, because there's white people in it also. But he's probably the white guy's crony, right? No, there's people involved. And all of a sudden, he shows up again after the first time. So again, it could be just Satan, but it's definitely hinting that it was deep state. Again, they're wacko people. They could have come into me when I was 16 and didn't like my family or something like that. Because again, my father was a foreigner from Romania. He paid money to have my grandmother or his mother sent to the United States. The government knew he was paying money for that. But again, they may not have liked him. Again, some people work for the Russians and never got arrested. There was no actual agreement for anything. It was just when they did certain things, they received more money. Now, Satan has that system, but there is also a physical system that mimics that. Now, God's supposed to have a system on earth where that happens, and that's not happening. So again, these things that are occurring that are being described by mainstream society are bullshit. Criminals have taken over. Everybody lies on their taxes. And that's just the beginning of it. So again, the world that we are seeing around us is absolutely false. I'm not paranoid. I'm the least paranoid on the planet. With what you did to me, I'm pretty chilled, man. And you know that, and you hate it. You despise it. Because you can think about the other thousands that you've murdered or forced to murder other people through psychological force known as spycraft, surreptitious drugging, psychological torture. They have committed crimes against humanity from banks such as Chase. Hey, that's where we'll have you put away. Right? Right? We'll have you all put away. Yeah, sealed. They're projecting me when I speak. And I think they might have a person out here roving around. Foreign national. Going to get her citizenship, probably. That's what they do. They give citizenship to people that are from foreign nations that will harass an American citizen. Oh, we got to get that woman out of his way. He's going to hurt her. She might be innocent. I don't know. But I'll bring it up every time I think about it. Whether you put it there or it's true. Oh, it's true. Someone just said it's true. Oh, I mean, he's going to hurt her, right? Because the only reason he didn't hurt anybody for the last 30 years is because we were there. Get it? I mean, they're full of shit. And every time I say that you're full of shit, you drop down that micro amount. It's paranoid. Quick, bring the paranoid police. We have to test him. See, he opened it up for us. He's an idiot. I mean, they say so much. Everything I'm saying is said somewhere in their circle within recent days. None of it fits together. None of it's sane. Everything they do is corrupt and criminal and insanity. But they're very peaceful, right? Why? Because they're remunerated. They're not allowed to be stressed out. But yet they still do stress out in their circles, in their offices, in their vehicles, in their meetings of criminal enterprise that they call government, church, big business. But we give charity to the church. We give charity to the church. I don't know what he's talking about. I already explained it. Angels of light, ministers of righteousness that are fake do not need to apply, and that's probably about 95% of the world, or the religious world. I mean, what's going on in the Catholic Church? There's no doubt they got white supremacists and all sorts of weirdos in those organizations. Well, they'll make you believe that accepting LGBTQ people is somehow demonic. When we look at the scriptures, there's a lot of signs that this day would come. Again, greater works is a greater forgiveness, correct? Or are you still going to deny that? You know, you all need forgiveness. I know you're high and mighty in your churches, and your money keeps your lives stable enough so that demons can't cause sin beyond a visual appearance. But again, it is a visual appearance because you've shifted what the vision or what the visual appearance would be. In the news every day, there are preachers sinning and engaged in abominations, causing strife throughout the planet. All right, so it's about 30 minutes here. Now you're stalking me, all of you. And that's solid. That's why they can't stop. They know they can violate federal stalking laws for 30 years or more. Remove that curse. And the originator of the curse goes to hell. Whoa, Shael. So again, they know to keep somebody's money down because they can move the metaphysic against them much more. They can curse them much more. So they physically do that. They're not even okay, all of you. They are the Antichrists. They are the devils, demons, Antichrists, witches, and sorcerers on the planet, but they're inside their minds. And their will creates the ones you see. In actuality, somebody within the church is projecting victimization of the church, and it's bringing the sisters of perpetual indulgence. Oh, okay, they are. We're victims. Oh my God, the things they're saying, Jesus Christ will defend Jesus. You're fools, all of you. Fools for the devil. All right, I'll be back in a bit. Stay peaceful. Praise God and all that you do.